Hey, it's Liberty Music Ray. Today's video is kind of long, but I think it's an important discussion, so please bear with me. Thank you.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. Started off with a qualifier. Well, I didn't agree with Charlie on everything. Essentially that he wasn't based enough. And this is fine too. We all have some strain of autism that is compels us to constantly signal how based we are, and that's fine. And it's fine because we're stuck with this problem together. We're in this together. This is banter. It's for us to talk about. It's for our side to talk about. It's not for outsiders to try to use logic against us, to try to hold us to rules that they don't hold themselves to. That's all that needs to be said about it. The fact is, Charlie Kirk is a martyr. He is a Christian white martyr. If you are Christian, if you are white, if you're a shit lib who miraculously somehow still believes in free speech, Charlie Kirk died for you. And he probably would have done it, anyway. I talked to Alex Stein a lot about him. He probably still would have done it if he knew he was going to die doing it. And we are all united now in a battle for the soul of mankind. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. The reason we have free speech is because at pivotal stages throughout human history, Christian white men mostly have decided that yes, actually it would be worth dying to prove a point. That's how it happened. That's how we got this. The free speech that you enjoy, to the extent that you're able to have free speech, is because of that, is because of men like this. irony posters, anybody who's irony posting right now, I haven't seen too much of it, but for the sake of your own souls, you might not want to do that. And I say that as somebody who didn't always take everything as seriously as I should. And there's, you know, you don't have to take everything seriously, but there's a wrong time to do stuff. And it might have spiritual ramifications. I'm worried for you. That's all why I'm saying it. And lastly, important thing before rocking out here, I think that we are all so smart and internet savvy that it's not possible for someone like me or like you or like little Timmy Thomas on his computer. He's got 10 Discord channels. He's a computer wizard.
Timmy Thomas is prolific on Discord.
It would be impossible for someone as smart as us to fall for any kind of psyop or emotional manipulation at a time like this. But on the off chance that this is a very small chance, on the off chance that somebody somewhere with an agenda, there's almost no chance this is happening. No. On the off chance that somebody somewhere with an agenda might be looking to capitalize on this event, spin it for nefarious purposes, very small chance this is happening. I can't see this happening. Even though we're so smart, it might behoove us to choose our words, would you say carefully?
Cautiously, carefully, intentionally.
A degree of precision. Discriminately, including your own internal dialogue. No matter what the result of the speculation is, the end result is the same, and that's that you, white man, are under attack. And that's that. Let's take a look at who our enemies are here. I tweeted at the Quartering, because he said, I love the Quartering, he's my guy. He said, don't look at the video. You got to look at these videos. You have to know what these people are trying to do to you. You have to know, you don't even have a family. That's the thing. You don't have a family because they've set up this clown world where you're convinced not to start a family. It's economically impossible to start a family. But if you had even if you had a family, you don't even know what's been taken from you. That's what's so fucked up. You have to watch these. You have to know that there is evil out there in the world. This isn't like being 15 and watching Best Gore or something. That you have to know that there is evil out there in the world. There's this idea of the seen versus the unseen. And I gotta say, thank God Irina Zarutska was hot.
No, it does. It calls more attention to it.
No shit. Mm-hmm. For every one of these people being killed who could be a relative of yours, it could be someone you cared about, it could be you. For every one of these people, there are thousands. Just alone in the UK, the girls being raped. Mm. Isn't it like over 100,000? How many is it? We don't see it because there's no video of it, and the media is not publicizing it.
And the details of each and every one of those are like science fiction level. I can't comprehend how bad, yeah.
And then the police in the UK arresting the victims. That's a common pattern I've noticed too.
I think that's what's going to happen, is that if the people that are against immigration ever get in control, the people that were advocating for it and facilitating it, if I were them, I would leave the country. I would leave the country. I would get out of there as fast as I can. Because I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen after that, right? It's just pretty, what are we doing? It's pretty obvious.
But do not believe these people when they say they want peace. That's not what they want. They want to go back to flying under the radar and having the ability to fuck with you at liberty with no consequences. That's what they want. You need to remember that. Here's Gavin Newsom, this guy. The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Play the clip.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Next clip.
Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponents guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this?
874 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like he's literally, this is his last term. So I think that people are a lot more radical.
It's hurt poor people that they can afford housing in Berkeley. I don't know how that works.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
This honestly makes me nervous for Hasan. I don't even like how much trouble he's getting himself into. Like, it makes me, I hate this guy. It makes me nervous for him listening to him say this shit. This is opening a door that I don't think he understands and is not ready for.
It was so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
There's no other emotion that makes me nervous for him.
It felt like when Augustus Gloop fell in the chocolate river.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know that that's so bad.
Yeah.
He's going to be stuck in a tube, and that's not a threat. I don't condone people being stuck in tubes.
We don't want to see people turned into blueberries. We don't want to see any fizzy lifting drinks, and we especially don't want to see anybody shrunk down into a television.
A TV.
That was the weirdest one. That was the yellow submarine of the movie.
Yeah.
That was a weird transformation.
All right, let's hear him talking about killing his fellow podcaster's wife or whatever this is.
Good Lord. Every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
Is it crazy to pray for Hasan?
No, absolutely
He
not.
looks so in over his head. This seems so dangerous.
I've never seen anybody say things that's blatantly violent.
This kid had a good point, too. The thing about cultivating a radical fan base is that you have to get progressively more and more extreme to satiate them and keep their attention. Hasan is now calling for the assassination of someone because they are Israeli. This was always the natural outcome of his politics. Yeah, he's like stuck. Like, how is he going to get out of this? Or what's the end wokeness tweet? And then the Speaker Johnson tweet.
This whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
I don't think I've publicly expressed pathos for my, is that the word you look up, pathos? Pity or sorrow? I've never relished the misfortune of iDubbbz, just so you guys know.
It's hard to see people lose.
Without hyperbole, I think this is the Rubicon moment here. And whatever happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future, not just of this country, but of humanity. It's going to determine where we're positioned economically, defensively, culturally, etc., against China. Not that everything's a competition with China, but this idea of America being the best place. And it's not so much that it's important that the idea of America being the best place is true or something. It's what's important is that there's a land where there's a reasonable degree of peace and freedom and the ability to innovate and pursue your dreams and be an individual and be a people. For the Chinese, that's China, and they have their own problems, I'm sure, that I don't understand or care about. When it comes to white people, though, it seems like Europe is largely a museum on its way down the toilet. An elegant, beautiful museum full of plenty of people who are beautiful, good people who deserve to live, but it's not looking good for them, and that's not a fight that we really have a hand in, immediate agency in. This is our country, and it's all we know. We're not going anywhere. would be a tragedy on many levels, on a human suffering level, on a human achievement level, on every conceivable level, for everything that our ancestors fought for to become Brazil or something like it, or something worse. There's not going to be another moment like this, I don't think. In terms of intensity, sure, maybe, but in terms of possibilities, I don't think there will be another moment like this. I think this is the turning point for our country. It's critically important that we have the right attitude of optimism, compassion when it's warranted, reserve when it's warranted, resolve all the time. And that brings me to my next point. The Constitution has failed. I don't care about some fucking piece of paper. I don't. I went to high school. I learned about the Constitution. I know about the Holocaust and slavery. I saw it in a movie. I know about the Constitution. I saw that in the movies too. But in real life, it would appear that the Constitution is a fucking toilet rag that only gets thrown in our faces when it can be used against us, when it can be used to fuck with us, to make us poor, to displace us in our neighborhoods, to help us lose our jobs, to make it so that the jobs don't exist. That's when the Constitution is defended the most effectively, is when it can be used to make you ineffective. It's an artifact from a completely different planet. It's from a white country that was run by white Christian men. Does South Africa have a constitution?
I think so.
That's a ChatGPT deep research question. Does South Africa have a constitution? More importantly, has it helped them?
It is interesting how, like Christianity, it's used as a cudgel against its believers by people who actively don't follow it.
Yep.
And don't believe in it.
If you have opponents who are playing by the rules and you don't have any mandate to play by the rules, why wouldn't you use their rules against them? South Africa has a constitution. Can you ask Grok 4 Heavy if they can go waive the South African constitution down there and prevent farmers from being murdered? If roving blacks come to your farm with phone jamming equipment and a plan to kill your family, would a copy of the South African Constitution come in handy? Click Think Harder, please. Down at the bottom, Think Harder. If roving feral blacks, who the government is encouraging to murder you, come to your farm to kill your children, Grok 4 Heavy's working pretty hard on this one. We have about 70,000 GPUs running right now, burning enough electricity to power Las Vegas. The phrasing suggests attackers use phone jamming, not the defender. Oh, this is amazing. This thing's basically thinking like a human.
It said no before, but it was not thinking back then.
It wasn't. Okay, this is the hard mode. It's likely asking if waiving the Constitution can prevent attacks where jammers are used. Let's search for 2025 statistics on farm attacks in South Africa. Eureka! No waving around the South African Constitution or any legal document, that's kind of damning, won't do much to deter or prevent a violent attack on your farm. Here's the important part. It's a powerful symbol of rights and equality, but it doesn't come with a built-in force field. That said, let's break down your question factually based on South African law, crime realities, self-defense rights. You could hold it up and claim your self-defense rights.
How heavy is it?
A 2025 case analysis notes that if the threat is unlawful and imminent, self-defense can be a valid legal defense even with an unlicensed firearm. Wow. That Constitution sounds pretty powerful. That actually sounds more powerful than our Constitution, because if you defend yourself in our country, you're fucked. But no longer, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. Point being, if Trump doesn't care enough about us to keep us safe in our cities, then fuck him. Arrest James Comey. Can you pull up the Constantino tweet? So this is James Comey on Instagram here, posting 8647. Can you even believe this? That this guy is walking around, that's a death threat.
Yeah.
He needs to be in fucking jail.
What's 8647? I have no idea what that is.
86 means kill. 47 is the 47th president.
Oh, interesting.
Just because you're speaking in code doesn't mean it's not a death threat. It makes Trump look like a fucking clown that Comey hasn't been arrested for that. That's ridiculous. Now's the time. Lock his ass up. Mass deportations, energy deregulation, firing civil servants. The Democrat Party, wrap it up. Whatever pretext you have to, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I used to be. Whatever the pretext is, RICO case, whatever, the people who have called for violence, they should have a day in court. That has to happen. All leftists who have called for violence or hinted at it have to be arrested. Tim Waltz, any celebrity who said, wouldn't it be funny if President Trump were assassinated? Pretending like that's not a dangerous threat and not taking action on it makes him look like a fucking clown. This presidency's a joke. Whoever around him is telling him not to do these things, you have to get rid of him. The Israel is our hero thing is over. That's the thing that gets these fucking bonehead conservatives caught up every single time, is if I can't beat them, join them. That's done for. It's over. It's not going to happen. You're not going to join them. They're never going to let you into the club. Charlie Kirk was in that club. He started to question the club. Now he's out of the club. There's no club. You're not in the club. They're going to kill you. They want to kill you. They want to kill your kids. Stop thinking that Israel's going to save you in whatever way, shape, or form, that making a pact with the devil is going to come out good for you. It's not. You're going to get fucked. What can we do? First of all, you need a gun. And you need to not be looking for fights. You need to not be saying stuff like FAFO, Karen, fucking karma's a bitch, and then shooting some shop owner who did nothing. You need to be protecting yourself and your family. You have to arm yourself. You have to arm yourself. That being said, you gotta be careful. This is a time where anything could happen. It's not a time to be going out looking for beef. And secondly, I think it's time to become annoying. You see all the people getting fired?
Oh yeah, loving it.
All the shit that liberals did to us that's annoying, I think it works. I think we just have to do that. Get these people fired. Start cataloging this. We need a tech-minded person building a database, because Palantir apparently is vaporware. They don't really know anything about what's going on. There needs to be somebody who has crypto money and is not crazy, and who would be responsible with the data, and who has a legal team. Someone needs to build a site to catalog the viciousness, the calls to violence, the nastiness of these people. And we have to start taking a page from the left's playbook. And I'm sure there are better options. I'm sure there's other things to do. But if you're bored, if you're angry right now, just legally get somebody fired.
It's a valid thing to do.
That's a valid thing to do. You don't have to worry, and you don't have to worry about the police coming to your door. Just don't threaten anybody over the phone, but just call the employers of these scumbags and make them aware of what their employees are doing.
They're not empty threats, though. Not
but
anymore.
it fucking works.
It's ethical, too, because this tactic was used against people for merely supporting a presidential candidate. And that's not to say that, well, if they did it, we'll just do it. But it is right that people that are entrusted, whether they're teachers or nurses.
If you're a teacher, a nurse, a firefighter, if you're anybody, and you're walking around and you're saying you're gloating over somebody dying, you're gloating over a regular guy who is well-intentioned dying, you should be out of a fucking job.
You're a physician? I wouldn't trust you to mow my fucking lawn.
Yeah. I'm sure some better tactic will appear. This is not cool.
Sure.
Okay? But they should be followed for the rest of their lives with this data. Do we have a compilation of like TikToks of these people dancing around and laughing and stuff?
Dead! Finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the fucking States, grew a pair and fucking went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you. Can we keep this up?
You know why it's right to expose? Because first of all, you're not making anything. This is just truth that they did this. There's nothing wrong with showing something that somebody truly did, and it doesn't benefit us to live in a society that tolerates people gloating about death.
The just thing to do, even with revenge taken out of the picture, is this person should not be around children. They should not be holding a needle that's injecting anything into your body. They shouldn't be allowed to prepare food for anybody else to consume. Almost no job, maybe Amazon warehouse worker, is what people like this should be entrusted with. That's the just thing, even with revenge taken out of the picture. So this is petty. It doesn't feel cool. It's not badass. It's the tactic that works, period. And that's what our enemies have been exploring, pursuing with a tenacity that we're not going to be able to match, because we're not evil, obsessed cretins. But it's what has to be done.
Nonviolent. Totally nonviolent.
On a positive note, they're comfortable enough to reveal themselves in totality. I mean, did you hear that witch cackle? That was crazy.
That's part of the problem, too, is that it teaches any children being raised and seeing this that is an acceptable option of behavior and mentality.
If you are confused right now, if you're bored, if you're angry, if you're thinking about how you're going to get back, while you're thinking about that, what you can do in the interim is you can make a polite phone call and ensure that one of these fucking freaks is broke. Furthermore, catalog what they've done, download videos, do some investigation of your own. You can practice your phone skills. If you call a place up and you're like, "Are you hired this person? I'm gonna fucking kill you." That's not good.
A great man once said, "When we win, do not forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kids raped, and brainwashed. And they think it's funny. We can't forget that. Christ help us all."
Don't forget that, and pray, thank God that you are healthy and have the opportunity to fight. And do not Fed post, do not fuck yourself.
Also, please don't act like this in public. It's embarrassing. Compelled speech is not free speech.
So you didn't call his name out? You didn't call the name out? Do you want me to? Yeah. She's recording right now. I am.
So she writes Charlie Kirk on the cup at Starbucks, and instead of calling the name out, she brought the coffee or whatever she ordered straight to her. I mean, I think that's excellent customer service, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think the customer wanted her to, got one for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Why can't you say his last name? What is happening? Why are you being like that to her? Why are you being like, why are you being like this? No, why are you being like that to me? Well, okay, why are you being like that to me? You're being so rude to this girl. I'm not. She's robbing and she brought your drinks to I actually am making a point, a big point. Recording her.
Why are you trying to make a political point in Starbucks?
I live so far outside the American world. It's weird for me to be even messaging this to you guys, but my theory has always been whatever happens in America eventually reverberates across the world. And even though people may not admit it, we look to you guys sometimes for guidance. The stuff that's kind of happening at the moment, what's just happened in the US, is kind of a touchstone of so many different instances. So let's hope you can find a path that we can then tread together.
I think we should have an optimistic attitude and try to always do our best.
Yo, what's up, Sammy? Rough times, but chin up, chest out, reject the black pill. Thank you for the shit that you do, man.
Reject the black pill, indeed.
Don't despair.
No, that's a sin, for sure.
I removed most of the racial politics stuff because it's unimportant to me. Real life isn't represented by Twitter commentary. I want to be clear in that, Just because I am bringing up someone's video does not mean I endorse everything they say. Only an idiot would think like that. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. When I was younger, I lived through the Bush administration, with the Patriot Act and some of the craziest rights violations you could possibly imagine. So I swapped to the left, thinking arrogantly that because the right is bad, the left must be good. Then I lived through the Obama administration, and literally nothing changed. Despite his campaign message being, quote, hope and change, end quote. It's strangely ironic because we live in a country today that is in such an uproar over what used to be completely normal a decade prior. People are literally calling for the assassination of a president because it was cool when their party did it a decade prior, but when you do it as a Republican today, somehow that makes you a Nazi. Let's be completely honest with each other. The modern-day left doesn't call people Nazis as a joke. They say it because they want someone to act on it, just like how they acted on that same rhetoric with Charlie Kirk. Sam Hyde isn't wrong in this video. These progressive leftists have been so entirely brainwashed into becoming radical revolutionary LARPers for the establishment, they have forgotten their core values. They no longer stand for individual liberty. They stand for totalitarian fascism, where you are killed for thinking the wrong thoughts. Where the Fortune 500 oligarchy does your thinking for you. Where Visa and MasterCard approves what you are allowed to think, read, say, write about, etc. Where 1984 becomes reality, except the government is run by the companies that can afford to buy politicians to enforce their policy. I'll be honest, I don't think we as a nation should tolerate people that come here and incite violence. People like Hassan Piker should be denaturalized and deported. Just like a mom and pop store reserves the right to refuse service. We should reserve the right to evict people that hate us and incite terrorism from our nation. The people that are full citizens of our country, that incite terrorism, should be sent to a federal prison. What they are doing is unraveling the fabric of society because they believe they should be allowed to seize power. If these terrorist LARPers had even the slightest level of self-awareness, they would be able to watch this video and see that what they are doing only ends one way.
Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. Obviously they will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. This they don't understand, and it will be greatest shock for them, of course. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So basically America is stuck with demoralization, and unless, even if you start right now, here, this minute, you start educating new generation of Americans, it will still take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide of ideological perception of reality back to normalcy and patriotism. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda, When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. He will go to Moscow to kiss the bottoms of new generation of Soviet assassins, never mind. He will create false illusions that the situation is under control. Situation is not under control. Situation is disgustingly out of control. Most of the American politicians, media, and educational system trains another generation of people who think they are living at a peacetime. False. The United States is in the state of war, undeclared total war against the basic principles and the foundations of this system. And the initiator of this war is not Comrade Andropov, of course. It's the system. However ridiculous it may sound, the world communist system or the world communist conspiracy, whether I scare some people or not, I don't give a hoot. If you are not scared by now, nothing can scare you. But you don't have to be paranoid about it. What actually happens now, that unlike myself, you have literally several years to live on unless the United States wake up. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect to, unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
Well, the immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives. The second thing, the moment at least part of United States population is convinced that the danger is real, they have to force their government. And I'm not talking about sending letters, signing petitions, and all this beautiful, noble activity. I'm talking about forcing United States government to stop aiding communism. Because there is no other problem more burning and urgent than to stop the Soviet military-industrial complex from destroying whatever is left of the free world. And it is very easy to do. No credits, no technology, no money, no political or diplomatic recognition, and of course no such idiocy as grain deals to USSR. The Soviet people, 270 millions of Soviets, will be eternally thankful to you if you stop aiding a bunch of murderers who sit now in Kremlin and whom President Reagan respectfully calls government. They do not govern anything, least of all such complexity as the Soviet economy. So basic, two very simple, maybe too simplistic answers or solutions, but nevertheless they are the only solutions. Educate yourself, understand what's going on around you. You are not living at the time of peace. You are in a state of war, and you have precious little time to save yourself. You don't have much time, especially if you are talking about young generation. There's not much time left for convulsions to the beautiful disco music. Very soon it will go, just overnight. If we are talking about capitalists or wealthy businessmen, I think they are selling the rope on which they will hang very soon. If they don't stop, if they cannot curb their unsettled desire for profit, And if they keep on trading with the monster of the Soviet communism, they are going to hang very soon. And they will pray to be killed, but unfortunately they will be sent to Alaska probably to manage industry of slaves. It's simplistic. I know it sounds unpleasant. I know Americans don't like to listen to things which are unpleasant. But I have defected not to tell you the stories about such idiocy as microfilm, James Bond type espionage. This is garbage. You don't need any espionage anymore. I have come to talk about survival. It's a question of survival of this system. You may ask me, what is it in for me? Survival, obviously, because unlike, as I said, I am now in your boat. If we sing together, we'll sing beautifully together. There is no other place on this planet to defect to.
I think most everyone watching this is smart enough to pick up what I'm putting down. Terrorism isn't hip or cool, especially when it's been sold and marketed to you like Marxism is some kind of hip new product. The only product in the world that will work and starve you to death, apparently. I'm going to end it here because this video is getting kind of long, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Have an amazing week, and if you watched until the end, leave a bird emoji in the comments. I'm curious about something, and I want to see if it's the same in my analytics.